Live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber. Stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber. She's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber. Cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, secrets to her glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine game. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. And we're live tonight. The music starts playing. It's time for cabaret. And we're live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Trump confused about ass kissing. On Saturday night, Trump was at a rally for J.D. Vance in Ohio. Trump announced to the crowd, J.D. is kissing my ass. He wants my support so bad. But, no pun intended, the New York Times reports that J.D. Vance didn't invite Trump to the rally. Instead, Trump's team just told Vance that they would be attending. Who's desperately kissing whose ass? Ron DeSantis replicates white supremacist political stunt. In the 60s, black families from Arkansas were bused to Cape Cod with a promise of work and housing. DeSantis, the great-grandson of immigrants and the current-day Anita Bryant, has attempted to plant immigrants in Martha's Vineyard. Ironically, the Venezuelans were in Texas, were lied to about the trip, and the money used came from Florida COVID funds. I suggest we relocate DeSantis to a suitable Italian detention center, the Olive Garden. Oh my, we've got a lot to talk about. Welcome back. We're live tonight. Yes, we are. But first, I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Oh my goodness, we have a great show for you tonight. But first, what does an English bathhouse, a twice impeached president, and green chicken have in common? Well, they're all a part of this week's news briefs. It's estimated that over 4 billion people watched Queen Elizabeth's funeral. 29 million of them were in the United Kingdom. Many of those could watch because most businesses closed or curtailed their business hours for the solemn occasion. One such business establishment was London's Pleasuredrome Spa Bar, which prides itself on being the only gay venue in England that stays open 24 hours, 365 days a year. Woo! While they at the Pleasuredrome did not close on the day of the funeral, they honored the monarchy by not showing any films or playing music for 4 hours. I think we all know what they meant by films. The spa bar announced, as a mark of respect to Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the cinema and the main screen will show live events around Her late Majesty's funeral throughout the day. And I assume followed by such classics as His Royal Scepter, The Prince of Porn, and Duke and Earl, Gaiety in the Palace. Now, speaking of gay, for years we've heard that MAGA, MAGA, stood for Make America Great Again. And we've recently learned that it could also stand for Making Attorneys Get Attorneys. But the other night, Private Citizen Trump declared something else.
Remember, I was going to use an expression, we have to keep our country gay, but it's not, for some reason.
In case you missed it, he said, remember, I was going to use an expression. We have to keep our country gay, but it's not. I mean, for some reason. And then he added, it's not great anymore. But you know what? We're on our way back. No thanks to you. And as a public service announcement, Amber Live gives you this.
Nyquil Chicken is a dish that involves marinating chicken in the cold and flu medication Nyquil with the intent of creating a meal that will treat sickness symptoms. Nyquil Chicken, also known as sleepy chicken or bedtime chicken, has been discussed online for several years, but has recently spiked in popularity again thanks to TikTok. Here's the history of the cursed chicken dish. The earliest known mention of Nyquil Chicken comes from a tweet from April 20th, 2017, captioned, "If she makes you Nyquil Chicken, do not let her go." The statement is accompanied by two photos, one of raw chicken marinating in the Nyquil, and the other of the finished product, which remains a sickly green even when cooked. The images spread to the shitty food porn subreddit, and the questionable recipe was revisited in a YouTube video in December 2019. TikTokers began to post videos of themselves cooking Nyquil chicken in 2020, with the most notable video posted on September 4th. The TikToker made the recipe ironic, sharing that he likes to use 4/3 of the bottle and flipping the meat with a hair straightener. The video gained over 4.3 million views in just over a year. Nyquil chicken videos surged again on TikTok in January 2022, with content about the dish popping up on For You pages everywhere. Some TikTokers react to old images, while others whip up their own versions of the meal. Even Jimmy Fallon joked about the trend on a January 16th episode of The Tonight Show, sharing his own satirical recipe for the dish.
Next, stumble into garage, drive car straight through garage door, then drive to Taco Bell on wrong side of road, going 3 miles per hour. After that, remove shirt, demand eggplant parm and a Twinkie, then get arrested.
Though the recipe is generally seen as a joke, multiple news outlets have reported in recent days that people should not be dousing their dinners in Nyquil, urging people to only use the medication as instructed on the label. TikTok has even gone so far as to post a warning about learning to recognize harmful challenges and hoaxes for any user who tries to look up the phrase. So just in case you were thinking of making some as a midnight snack, nobody should attempt to make Nyquil chicken. Maybe stick to a more traditional recipe. What TikTok trend do you want us to cover next? Let us know in the comments.
Tide Pods don't seem so bad now, do they? And that's this week's news briefs. Oh, Russell, come on in.
Hey, Amber, how are you?
Oh, Russell, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on live like this, and I missed it. So, Russell, those TikToks that you showed at the earlier, there's several things I want to talk about. One was the Ron DeSantis one. You posted that yesterday on TikTok, yesterday, like 8 o'clock. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we had 25,000 views of that TikTok and almost 600 comments, and most of them weren't very nice to me.
The trolls were in action.
I don't mind them not liking me, but be clever. Come on, be a little more clever with it. And then the TikTok with the Pride Parade last Sunday. Oh my God! I don't know if you noticed, but there were several of our past guests were in that parade. We saw David Glidden, who ran for a state representative from St. Albans. We saw Dr. Lewis First, who was one of our early guests, a great guest. David Zuckerman, lieutenant governor candidate, who passed lieutenant governor. Now he's running for lieutenant governor again. And I forget her name. The mitten lady, Bernie Sanders. Yes, she was in the parade. There were several others. It was just so nice to watch the parade and see those people. Whew. All right, Russell. I know we've got some new viewers tonight, so tell them how to watch the show.
Yes, well, the best way to enjoy Amber Live is by going to youtube.com/Amber Live, and we recommend you watch there for two reasons. One is that when you watch there, you're getting Amber in full HD, and two, a lot of your friends are probably over there in the chat room. So during the show, you can chat with them, you can send comments into us, and it's just a lot of fun. And then you can also see there our TikTok, our Instagram, we have Facebook, and we have a website. all great places to see Amber. And then if you can't watch Amber, you can also listen to just the interviews, which I cut out of the shows and put up as podcasts. So you can find those anywhere there are great podcasts. So there's just a ton of Amber out there. She's all over the place. So go find her and watch her.
Oh, yeah. Do we have a picture tonight for the caption?
We do. This is our caption this photo tonight. If you have a funny caption for this photo, please send it in. We have cousin Craig working with us tonight. He'll be watching the comments for the best captions on that one. So send them on in and have some fun with it. And please label it as a caption so Craig knows what it is and that he can, Yeah,
we'll show you that again later on in the show. All right, Russell, I know you want to make a special plug tonight.
Well, of course. So what keeps this show really running are our bustiers, and we want to thank them all, as always, our super bustiers, our regular bustiers, everybody who's given is a huge help. And you can see there the Venmo at RJD Pro, and that's where you can give to help keep Amber Live going. Or if you want to use your credit card, go to amberlive.tv and look for the Support Amber Live button. It's right there on the front page. And that money goes to costs like our software and some of our equipment occasionally, and it just helps us move forward and keep the show growing. And any amount is welcome. If you'd like to give $25 or more, however, I will send you an Amber Live sticker of the logo. For $100 or more, you get a sticker and a magnet of the logo, and for $200 or more, a sticker, a magnet, and one of the great Amber Live mugs. And again, that's that Venmo at RJD Pro, or look for the Support Amber Live button on the amberlive.tv website. And thank you to our bustiers, because it really has helped.
And, even $5, you're watching a show for an hour a week, $5, that'd be fine. We'd gladly accept that. All right, Russell, now tell us about tonight's guests.
Oh my gosh, we have some great guests tonight. As always. Where do we find them all? We have two wonderful people here. The first is Kate Rice, who is an author. And she's also got some other things she does on the side, and I'm sure she'll tell you about that. But she has written a book called Jesus is Not Republican, and she has some great TikToks based around that, and it's going to be a fun discussion. And then we have the Chicago Music Award nominee and Prince Regent of EDM, Dantés Alexander, here to tell you all about his music. So that'll be a lot of fun, and another Chicago connection.
Yes. And we honestly, we really do have Lucy Belle returning for Bitchin in the Kitchen. We've been fooled the last couple of weeks, but no, seriously, we have Lucy Belle and Rocco and Boog and Shoog coming up as well.
Yes, the real Lucy Belle.
Yeah,
we poked her to make sure it was actually her this time.
Yes. All right, Russell. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll come back and see you later on. So let's go on with the show. All right. Our first guest tonight is Kate Rice, and here's clips of some of her work.
Don't be ridiculous. So, how did the Bible become anti-gay? Answer: a mistranslation of just a couple of words. A team of biblical scholars were translating ancient texts for the Revised Standard Version of the Bible. They chose the word homosexual for a passage in Corinthians. And then that's what they published. After the Revised Standard Version was published, a seminary student wrote the translating team and said, "I think you've made a mistake. I think the word you want is sexual perversion," because what they were talking about in this passage were behaviors like sex slaves. This was in the time of the Romans. They had slaves. They were talking about prostitution in the temple. They were talking about adults taking advantage of children. This was all wrong. He took a look at the seminary students' arguments and said, "Oh, we think you're right. We'll change it." Here was the problem. They had agreed not to change this version for 10 years. And in the intervening years, more versions of the Bible were translated, and everybody was doing those new versions went to that passage in Corinthians that was in the Revised Standard Version, the passage that was a mistake. That's how it got codified.
Wow, we have a lot to talk about. Come on in, Kate.
Hi. I'm really happy to be here.
All right. So, what prompted you to write a book about Jesus not being a Republican?
because what prompted it was I wrote another book about refugee resettlement, and I had been working with my synagogue in New York, and you have to find out how a shiksha like me became a Jew for a while by reading the book. Anyway, I was working with the synagogue, and we started to resettle refugees, and we started working with a small Presbyterian church that was doing an incredible job of resettling like multiple families from Syria. And they became famous in the refugee world across America, and people were asking them how they did it. And I said, you got to write a how-to for these guys, for everyone. They were too busy. I was like, oh, I used to be a reporter. I can write it. So I wrote this book and found congregations, a lot of them in the Bible Belt and Republican states, that were working really hard to resettle refugees. And I discussed, like in North Carolina, I found a Baptist church and a synagogue working together to resettle refugees. And I realized this issue that's so polarizing in the headlines was really unifying on the ground. And I also realized that's when I really became aware of how the far right had hijacked Jesus. And I decided to write a book about how they subverted Jesus, basically. And that's where how Jesus became Republican came from.
And it's so true. You know, they say that America's a Christian nation, but they do nothing Christ-like in any of their actions.
They're anti-Jesus. I mean, Jesus was all about taking care of the other and love. And basically what's happened is the far right, I call them hatriots, because I got that from some friends in Montezuma County, Colorado, where there's a very active group of progressive Christians, and also the two main cities in Montezuma County, which is in Lauren Boebert's district, both declared June Gay Pride Month. So this is the thing. There's progressives everywhere, even where it looks red. But anyway, it's basically the hatriots keep talking about Jesus and being patriots, but really their song is all about hate and violence and sowing fear and that kind of thing. So they're not Christians.
You are a political activist, and yeah. I know that you go into the rural parts of states and get those people voting and activated. How do you go about that, and why did you choose that?
Well, because I grew up in a rural part of Wisconsin that was a purple to red part of the state. And even though I moved to New York, and I did a lot of work in New York, knocking on doors, not just in New York City, but in upstate New York, where it's a mix of progressives and conservatives. Yeah. And in 2020, I just moved back to Wisconsin because New York was a disaster. And I just moved home and went to work with Wisconsin Democrats and my home county Democrats. And I'd call up people and say, I'm Kate Rice. I'm Jim and Barbara Rice's daughter, because I was from right there. And they were like, oh, okay, I'm glad to know, because I thought you might be someone just pretending to be a Democrat to see if I was going to vote for a Democrat, so you would come and vandalize my house or something. I mean, that's the feeling there. So, but there's a lot of Democrats in places that look red. So
what's the political climate right now in Wisconsin?
Busy. It's like all of my Democratic friends are worried, but they're going to vote. And there's a lot of momentum, I think, behind Mandela Barnes for running for Senate. There's a pretty big race in my home district for the third congressional district, because the Democrat who had been there for 22 years, aptly named Ron Kind, decided, he is a really nice guy, but he decided it was, he put his time in. And so I am rooting for Brad Pfaff, who is another Democrat, and to succeed in that race. So like everywhere. And the thing is, it's one of those places where everything could ride on what happens in some of these races. But there's also a lot going on in lower, down ballot races too, because that's very important to build up a Democratic presence there. Like where I live in Utah right now, in Summit County, the big push in Summit County is to keep it blue, because the county itself is blue. So.
And in Utah, there you have your Republican senator running for re-election, but an independent is neck and neck in the polls.
Yes. So, and personally, I'm voting for the opponent, because even though He is conservative. I don't know if he's going to take a strong stance against abortion, but there's no way he could be as bad as the incumbent, whose name I don't even want to say. I don't want to.
I understand. I understand. So, what got you involved in the refugee program, for immigrants?
Well, like everybody in 2015 and 2016, when we saw just all of these people pouring across the borders of Europe. And I have to say, it is a family tradition. Like my grandparents hosted refugees from Europe after World War II, refugees who were in displaced person camps and came to America. My grandparents hosted them. When I was a young reporter in Monroe County, Cuban refugees in the boat exodus in 1980 ended up getting resettled in Wisconsin at an army, or not resettled, but processed in an army camp in Wisconsin. Coming to Wisconsin in the summer and fall was a tough transition for those Cuban refugees. So I covered a lot of that, and we did a lot of work with the refugees. And also my part of Wisconsin is where a lot of Hmong refugees have been resettled. So, and finally, when I was a kid growing up, and I had to go to Catholic school in the summer because my parents sent us to public school. So summer vacation, we had to spend the first 2 weeks going to St. Pat's. But the nuns didn't make us stay inside, read catechism. They took us out because migrant workers were there working in the fields, and they took us out ostensibly to read catechism to them. But actually what we were doing was teaching them how to read English so that they could come back. I love a subversive nun. There's just nothing better. So it was kind of like how I was raised.
All right, you're an author, you're an activist, but you also have another side of you, and we've got a little clip to show of that as well.
I'm Kate. I was talking to some friends, and they said, Kate, you're so brave to do stand-up. And I'm like, no, brave is when I tell you when and where I'm doing stand-up. So I finally got divorced, which I highly recommend. It's great. I'm just excited, like, oh my God. And everybody's like, oh, Kate, was the divorce hard on the girls? I'm like, no, the marriage was hard on the girls.
Now, how often do you get out and perform either your stand-up or your vocals and keyboards?
Okay, well, I haven't. A lot of that fell by the wayside during COVID. So yeah. I've done a little bit of stand-up not here in Park City, but down in Salt Lake. There's a couple of really good comedy clubs down there. And I just started taking voice lessons again to get my voice back in shape so I can get back on stage, and I'm recruiting bands. So
that's great. That is great. All right. So what's next? You've got the new book. What's your next project?
Well, actually, I'm working on another book. It's called Cured, and it's about a little adventure I had with a cancer diagnosis, and also about some of the life experiences that, it's about dealing with two malignancies. A cancer diagnosis, and then some toxic relationships. And it's very funny. I'm making it really funny. So but that's still several months away.
Well, Kate, you'll have to come back and talk about that. All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to have you back on to talk to our other guests and ask them a question. So hang in there. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, Kate.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, we talked to some great people, but one of our favorite people, and she's back, is Lucy Belle's Bitchin' in the Kitchen.
Bitchin' in the Kitchen with Lucy Belle.
Hey everybody, it's Lucy Belle LeMay here with another episode of Bitchin' in the Kitchen, a whole new episode of Bitchin' in the Kitchen. And today I'm going to show you how to make a sandwich fit for a king. That's right, we are going to do a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. Yes, Elvis Presley's favorite snack, according to his housekeeper back in Graceland, Mary Jenkins. So, but of course, before we start, we have to have a cocktail. So, why don't we start with, I think I'm going to make myself an iced coffee. I'm going to add a little screwball whiskey, which is peanut butter flavored whiskey. We'll just add a little bit there to the glass. Oh yeah. Then we'll get us a little coffee. Then we'll top it off with a little cream. I guess we could use ranchada, but not today. So good. You'll love the flavor of peanut butter in this iced coffee. So we're going to do the fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. So all you need is 2 slices of white bread, some peanut butter, and a banana, and of course, butter. Get our skillet nice and warm. So we'll go ahead and toast the bread. Now we'll add some butter to the skillet. Usually about 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. I heard that Elvis always liked to put a whole stick in his, and he just gave his peanut butter and banana a bath in butter. But we won't do that today, will we? Now our toast is done. We've got them toasted. You want to toast the white bread first. And then we're going to take some peanut butter and put all over one side, just like so. Get it nice and thick. He always loved a lot of peanut butter. Now we're going to take our banana. We're going to slice it. Yes, just like so. Whoops. We just lay these right on top evenly, just like that. Make sure there's plenty all the way around. Elvis loved his bananas all over his sandwich. There we go. Oh, our frying pan's getting hot. Sounding good. Now we're going to put a little bacon on our banana and peanut butter sandwich. Oh, it's going to be so good. And then we're just going to put a little bit of peanut butter on the other side. And bam. Now we're just going to dump this right into the frying pan. There we go. Oh, let me get my spatula. And while that's soaking up the butter and frying, I think I'll take a little drink. So if you ever get a chance to get down to Memphis, you should check out Graceland. I've never been, but I wouldn't mind going sometime. I know all of you heard that me and Amber had a great time in P-Town at Carnival. You know, I'd have to say my bitch this year, or this episode, would have to be, you know, I'm sorry summer is so short. I wish it was longer. I almost wish that Carnival was 2 weeks, but I don't know if I could hold up for 2 weeks. Looking nice and crispy. Oh yeah. Yes, we'll just cut this right across here just like so. And then we're going to cut it one more time. Make 4 pieces out of this. And see, we've got banana, bacon, peanut butter, and butter. What could be better? No wonder Elvis loved this so much. And I can see why he died at 55, too. Poor thing. He was a treasure, and they say the king of rock and roll at the time. You guys have a great week or a great month or whatever until the next time I see you. But I'll try to make an appearance sooner than later. So, all of you, take care of yourselves, be kind, and be respectful too. Okay? Till next time.
Oh, it's so good to see Lucy Belle. We had a great time in Provincetown and at Pride last week, and then our visit to the Tunbridge World's Fair as well. We have a lot of fun together. Russell, come on in.
I'm glad she's back.
I am too. It's so good to see her. And all right, Russell, what else do we have coming up?
Oh my goodness, we still have a whole other interview with Dantès Alexander, and then we're going to do Ask Away and have Kate and Dantés talk to each other and ask some questions. We've got Rocco coming up. We got Cousin Craig who will be here instead of Jack this week, and we'll be talking about that caption this. So let me show that again if I can find it here. My gosh, so many things to pick from. There it is, the caption this. If you have a funny caption for that one, send it on in. Label it as a caption. Cousin Craig's looking out for those, and we'll talk about them at the end of the show and get some good laughs, hopefully.
So Russell, I see you're in a new studio this week. Are we renting that out? Are we paying for that?
Oh, yes. Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of a $9 green screen that I already owned.
All right, very good. All right, well, and one more plug.
Yes, then what keeps us going and pays for the equipment, but not the equipment behind me, is that Venmo and our bustiers. So please, if you can give, it really helps us. We do have a lot of expenses coming up. It's time to renew some of our software again, and that gets pricey. And you can do that using that Venmo at RJD Pro or using amberlive.tv and look for the support Amber Live button. And thank you all. Thank you for your support.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you, Russell. And I'll see you towards the end of the show.
Yes. Have a great rest of the show.
Yes. And our next guest, we've had a lot of guests from Chicago, thanks to our good friend, Dwayne Scott Cerny, to hook us up with these people. And our next one, Dantès Alexander, let's hear a little bit of his music.
Drive riding down 79. It's Friday night, all the girls are looking right. Let's go drive down to King Drive. Do you think you can roll me through my town? I'll show you my city. It's where I'm from. Some call it New Jack City. Oh my Lord. Drive exiting on 69. They're shooting and all the kids in the night. Mama's crying and I don't see no wind inside.
I was dancing. Dantès Alexander, come on in. I was dancing in my basement here, just moving to the grooving.
I had to move my head too. I like that.
All right, Dantés. So your title is Prince Regent of EDM. Okay, am I getting that correct?
Yes, ma'am, you are. That's correct.
Okay, so number one, a Prince Regent, is that an elected title? Is that an honorary title? What is a Prince Regent?
I had to ask what that was when I was given the title to Miss Amber. I didn't know what that was. I had to go look it up. Can I be honest? The title actually came from the LA Times Now and the New York Weekly Times last year. Was really, really excited, obviously, to be picked up on both of those websites, really big websites. I was really, really shocked to discover that it meant, essentially what I was told is that it means a monarch in a smaller capacity. I'm filling some type of void. I'm not sure what that void is. I'm just being myself. But yeah, pretty cool.
Very good. And EDM, I know it's electronic dance music. All right. But can you tell me what's the evolution of music that got us to EDM? You're talking to someone who grew up with the Beatles, rock and roll, and loves disco. So can you tell me where EDM comes in after that?
Well, EDM really is, to be completely honest, it is sort of like this hodgepodge of queer culture. Can I just be honest?
Yeah.
House music is a cousin to disco, right? You just heard New Jack City. That is essentially a disco record. So EDM is more of a commercialized term of queer music. So house music, all of the music that we listen to when we go to the balls, that is EDM. So much, in fact, that even Beyonce herself is doing it now. So yes, we love EDM, Crystal Waters, LaBouche, my goodness, and the list can go on and on and on and on and on about all of these, different people who have been, fixtures rather, excuse me, over the last 30 years. So yeah.
How did you get started doing music? How old were you, and how did you progress to get where you are now?
Well, my story, actually, I sort of feel like it's a rags to riches sort of tale, right? I like to share, these things with people because I like to be somewhat of an open book. I think my life is pretty much available for everybody out there now. But I grew up in the system, which was great and fine. By
the system, what do you mean the system?
The system, DCFS.
Okay.
So I was awarded the state, when I was a child. Sort of a interesting upbringing, but a very privileged upbringing also too. I was able to, meet a lot of, famous celebrities as children, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. I remember going to his camp, as a child, and every year we would put on performances at the campus. So I want you to think of a college-sized campus filled with kids in varying age from 8 all the way up to 18, boys and girls. So think of it like college before college. And every year we would put on performances, Black History performances, Valentine's Day performances, what have you. And all of these different celebrities would come to Maryville Academy to watch us perform. So that's how I got started.
What was the first number you performed that you said, I like this?
Oh, wow. I think I was actually at summer camp. I believe I was about 13 years old, and we sang, I don't want to tell you what song it is.
Oh, please.
It's sort of a guilty pleasure now.
Oh, please.
It was some Britney Spears. It was Britney Spears. We love Britney.
Leave Britney alone.
Oh my God. Poor Britney. We love you, Britney. But that was when I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. And then every year, I consistently got chosen to be lead every year. So that's how I got started. As I progressed, through my 20s, I did a lot of extras work, background work. I had some features roles on Showtime's Work in Progress, season 1. So you guys can actually go back and look at me on season 1 of Work in Progress.
How did you get that gig?
I'm actually very, very good friends with the casting director here by the name of Darlene Love. Oh, I can't say her last name. Sorry.
A lot of syllables.
Yeah, sorry, a lot of syllables, and I also don't want her to get bombarded by emails as well.
Right.
But
just
Darlene,
give her my name.
But with Darlene, I've worked with Darlene now probably for maybe close to 7 years. Maybe the first project I worked on with her was Divergent, which was way back in like 2007, 2008. So that was a really, really, really fun experience, and that's what started it for me. And then from there, I just sort of segued into what the real love is. I don't really necessarily. I love film, right? We all love film. I love film. But I feel like in that realm, I've accomplished as much as I want to accomplish in that realm. And moving to music, I just felt like it was a natural transition for me. So
What is your current project? What are you working on?
So right now, I just released my third project, New Jack City 3, which is exclusively available on iTunes, Tidal, and TikTok. Very, very, very happy about that. That is the third in my trilogy. I also released a video game, same title, last year. So that, very, very proud of that. Take a listen to that. And then I also have Tales from the Sixth Dimension, which premieres October 7th.
Yeah, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that.
I'm very excited about that. So Tales from the Sixth Dimension is sort of a hodgepodge of different things that all of us grew up watching and listening. So X-Files, Outer Limits, Night Gallery,
Twilight Zone.
Absolutely Twilight Zone. So it is a hodgepodge of all of those things, but brought up to a 21st century intersection. So the first episode is actually about mental illness. It's a very, very good episode. Very, very happy to unleash that.
Now, is it a podcast or is it video?
So this will be my first radio series. So I actually, a few days ago, I was actually told by Fox News that I am the first African-American to write, produce, direct, and star in his own science fiction radio series.
Boom.
So I am very happy about that. You see how life just works out, Miss Amber? You start doing one thing and don't hope to be great. It just happens. Right?
But you are.
Oh, bless your heart, Miss Amber. Bless you.
So what's next after the Tales?
So Tales from the Sixth Dimension, and then the show that I want you to come on, which will be season 2 of the Access Lakeshore Drive show. Both of these shows are radio shows, and they both will premiere on WSBC 1240 here in Chicago, October 14th at 7 p.m. So we would love to have you.
Call me up. Thank you so much. Now, do you play your music in public? I mean, I hate being ignorant. Are you a DJ? Do you sing to your recording?
So I write, produce all of my own music. Everything that you hear, I have written, composed by myself. They all start out as demos here at home. And then once I have a melody and I've written out the song structure that I like, I'll buzz up my engineer, and I want to say engineer. Engineer is the person who presses record. I am the producer. I love Paul. He is a great man. He was a really, really great man, but he's a mastering engineer. He gives the music the extra oomph, which makes it what it is. So it's a relationship that works in tandem with the producer and the mastering engineer. And
very good, very good. Well, good luck to you. And yes, we're looking forward to that your radio series. And yes, I would love to be a guest. But right now, I want to bring in Kate back in. Kate, our first guest. Now, Kate, do you have a question for Dantés?
Yeah, so Dantés, what I love is you said early on, and I don't know if I got the terminology correct, but you said you were a ward of the state, and you called it, so it was a privilege. And
yes,
did I say that?
Yes.
So the word is something like a privilege, and anyway, I am so not surprised that you're this sort of Renaissance man of the arts. But I just wanted to say, how did you get that kind of positive attitude about your life? I mean, so that, as you said, you just follow your heart, and great things come your way. But did you just come that way, or?
Oh no. Okay. No, of course, Miss Kate, of course not. I think like most of us, we spend a lot of our time seeking some type of affirmation from other people. But when I realized that the only thing that was holding me back was myself because of my fears about what other people thought about me, oh, honey, it was over with. I took off all of the rose-colored glasses. I stopped pretending and stopped trying to seek approval and acceptance from people, and I just became who I am. I almost want to cry for that.
No, beautiful story.
I see like season 3, the sixth dimension of how you did that.
Well, I've been blessed with this very good foresight skill. Sixth Dimension is actually a record from my first New Jack City project that came out last year. I try and build out worlds that allow me to stay in them for an undetermined amount of time. So from the first album, the second album, the third album, the video game, and then also incorporating all of those songs into other projects allows me to stay in those worlds and to give the character, because there is a character, the central character of the story is Dantés, but it is in an animated and electronic world, whereas now we're in a tangible world. We can touch and see all, and all these things. But it was important for me to have all of these things that connected back to each other, just to say, you know what, I'm here. And these are all of the projects that have come and they are attached to each other. So.
Dantés, do you have a question for Kate?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, Kate, one of the things that really, really, really struck me was you are a literary musician. That is very, 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 very rare. And I think we share some similarities there also, too, right? A totally, totally, totally different path, right? Mm-hmm. How hard was it for you when you decided, you know what, I'm going to be an author and I'm going to be a musician? Which one came first? Was it the chicken or the egg? Which one?
Well, I realized that music had been a part of my life for my entire life. My mother loved musicals, and we always had, Camelot, My Fair Lady, Carousel, everything was the soundtrack of my childhood. So I sang my whole childhood, but I didn't even notice it. It was like breathing. I just did it all the time, but I rarely performed. I died at piano recitals when I was going at St. Pat's. And then years later, I was in the midst of this divorce and I went to see a friend performing for the first time in a rock band. And this woman gets up she comes from behind and just belts out this song. And I look up at her and I'm like, I'm going to do that. And I was like, who said that? Who said that? And I did. And there was a program that was basically sort of a school of rock for adults. And the first time I went and opened my mouth to sing into a mic, nothing came out.
No.
But I persevered, and it turns out I love to sing. I love to sing. And
wonderful.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well,
it's good.
Dantés, Kate, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Amber Live. Keep us abreast of your future projects, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. I love that conversation between the guests because they have questions that I didn't think about. And someone else I don't think a lot alike with is Rocco Zamboni. So let's find out what's on Rocco's mind tonight. Hey, Rocco.
Hey, Amber, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. What do you think of the show so far?
I think it's awesome. I think Dante is pretty fabulous. Kate, awesome. You can't do better than that.
No.
Hey.
I got you. So what's on your mind this week?
Oh, well, I know you talk a lot about religion and stuff this week, so I really wanted to point out that I do have a new venture that I've been working on, and I kind of wanted to share with everybody, if that's all right with you, Amber.
Oh, sure. Please share away.
All right. Russell. Come on.
Rocco Zamboni versus the internet.
Hey, all you residents of God's favorite country, the United States of America, do you need more God stuff? Of course you do, damn it. So, welcome to Rocco's House of Holy Shit, the place where you could find all your religious needs. You could find all sorts of God-fearing and people-fearing stuff. Check it out. We carry a full line of home decoration and home protection items just like Jesus would have wanted. There's the Bible belt, which comes with its own holster, so you could put in your favorite sacred firearm. There's the crucifix, which is good for praying and slaying. We've even got the throwing star of David. Hey, at Rocco's house is shit. Even the Jews can't lose. It's Torah, Torah, Torah time. Just grab that scroll and bash some Gentile right in their genitals. Ha ha! Be a little devil with fun things like the angel condom holder. Because, who needs an abortion nowadays? Those places blow up. And the hussy horn. Because, if they show it, you can blow it. The Lazarus shovel for beginners, because everyone needs a little bit of help that first time trying to have a resurrection. Also, how about the anti-cripple walking device? Because, you got legs, you don't need the bags. We've even got the body of Christ tortilla chips. But don't forget to wash them down with our new holy water, now with fluoride. For you extreme Christians, we got ourselves the take-home crucifixion kit. Come on! Go nuts, you bunch of weirdos. So don't just hang around. Come on down to Rocco's house of holy shit and see what God's purpose is for you.
Love that Rocco.
Love that Rocco.
Hey, what are you going to do, So what do you think? Would you go shopping there?
Oh, well, I think there was a few things I would like. The Bible belt. I thought that was very nice. I'd find other things than a gun to put in, but, that's maybe a pepperoni or something,
that would be nice. I mean, think about it. Yeah. Pepperoni or a salami in a holster?
Yes. I think you have something there, Rocco. I really think you have something.
I know. I think it's going to be big. I think maybe this is it, This could be the thing that takes us over the top.
All right. And I did notice that you had your Amber Crew button on in that video.
I sure did.
Yep. Every Wednesday night we get together and we talk for about an hour or so from 8:15 to 9:15. Rocco comes on, sometimes Jack, or sometimes Rusty and Russell and Dwayne Scott Cerny, and we just get on and talk. So keep an eye out. If you subscribe to Amber Live, you'll know when we do it. So make sure you do that.
It's a good time.
It is. We talk about some funny stuff. Well, thank you so much, Rocco. You have a great week. It's good to hear from you. All right. That was good. That was number one, Rocco, right there. All right, let's bring Cousin Craig in so he can talk to us about the captions. Hey, Craig.
Geez, you make me follow a scene like that with Rocco. God. Oh, that was funny.
That was funny. All right, so let's show the picture of the caption. All right, that's pretty funny.
So we only had 4 captions tonight. I think people's creative juices are drying up.
Okay, and what were they? Let's see some.
So Big J said, "Oh, I forgot. I have to display these, don't I?" It's a while since I've done this.
Yes, it is. And we miss Jack. We would love to have you, but we miss Jack.
We miss Jack because he knows what he's doing on this.
Yeah.
So at 8, I file these away by time. At 8:31.
Of course you do.
Big J, because you know me. Big J says, "How can I get out of this hole?" It's somewhat of a disturbing picture. I don't know.
Yes.
Stacy said, "Dude, what happened to my head?"
Stacy from California. Stacy's a regular on the Amber Crew on Wednesday night.
Gary Buck, who's a very regular.
Yes. Well, some say he's an irregular, but Gary Buck from Elyria, Ohio, one of our regulars. Yes.
Which is the only reason I know how to pronounce Elyria, Ohio.
Mitch Richfield never knows how to pronounce it.
She doesn't know how to pronounce a lot of things. He says, "Good trick, but can you put your head back on?"
Oh,
that's a little creepy. But I think Boog and Shoog takes the cake.
Yeah.
With that's the rare giraffe dog. You should see how many ladders it takes to breed them.
Do Boog and Shoog have hands? Can they type on a keyboard?
You can do things telepathically now. Like declassify documents and make comments on the chat.
All right. Is that all the comments tonight, Craig?
Those are all the comments tonight.
Oh, they were great. Thank you so much for presenting them, and thank you for those commenting. Russell, come on in.
Hello. Yes, Bug and Shoog do have hands. There are videos. There are videos where you see their hands out there. So,
all right, I'll have to pay more attention to it.
On the usual close of show, their hands are usually down below the shot.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't want to know.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
All right. Well, that was a fun show. I mean, what great guests, great conversations. I love the when I have them ask each other questions. You know, that was a nice conversation.
They were great questions.
Yes. All right. Anything you guys want to add before we leave tonight?
No, I think everyone should have a great week, and we will see you next week with some more amazing guests.
Yes. We have some good ones coming up. All right. Thank you, Cousin Craig. Thank you, Russell. Yes. All right. Yes, we do have a lot of great guests lined up from now to the end of the year. So stay tuned every Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, or check out our YouTube channel or go to our website, amberlive.tv, and to figure out what the hell we're doing. Until then, hey, Boog and Shoog, bring it in.
I can't wait to see this new movie, Bros.
It comes out soon.
1, I don't think you're old enough. And 2, I think everyone in the movie has already come out.